A very warm morning, everyone. GDSC-DTU welcomes you to the Solution Challenge 2023. My name is Subhanshu Rao, and I'm one of the machine learning co-leads at GDSC-DTU. GDSC is a student-led organization which helps them to grow their knowledge of the existing and the latest developers product. And we are the DTU chapter of GDSC. Today, we'll be talking about the Solution Challenge, and we'll be talking about the prerequisites and what are needed to participate in the same. So without wasting our time, let's hop into today's agenda. So here's a quick look at the Solution Challenge. So now let's talk about the agendas of today's session. We'll be going for an overview of 2023 Solution Challenge, eligibility criteria, timeline, and then we'll be talking about what exactly are these 17 sustainable goals that have been set by UN. And then we'll talk about some of the developers product made by Google. So let's jump into the overview of 2023 Solution Challenge. The first question that might come into your head, what exactly is Solution Challenge? So here it is. GDSC has been on a mission to solve one or more of the 17 sustainable goals set by UN by using existing Google's tech. And these sustainable goals were set by UN in the year 2015 and were planned to be achieved by 2023. And these goals were mutually agreed by 193 nations. So the eligibility for the Solution Challenge of this year is you have to be a university student, you have to be above age of 18, and it's open for every GDSC member, the leads and their co-leads, and each person can join only one team. And the rules for team building is that the maximum number of participants that a team can have is 4, and one member of the team has to be a part of any GDSC chapter. Your team can consist of members from different university, different GDSC chapter, and even different countries. So the timeline, 11 January, the Solution Challenge was announced. 18 January, the challenge kickoff event took place. And March 17, the submission for the challenge opens and the submission closes on 31st of March. On May 13, the top 100 global teams winner would be announced, and then they'll get a 1-month mentorship by the Googlers to refine the product. On June 12, there will be a final submission, and then the mentoring will continue for the final rounds, and then top 10 team will be announced. They'll get all the mentoring for the final demo day, and then on 3rd of August, Solution Challenge demo day, top 3 teams will be announced. So here's a quick checklist. So you have to join a GDSC club, then you have to host info sessions and all, form a team, select a UN Sustainable Development Goal, identify the solution, learn and build. You have to design the front-end interface and the back-end interface, and then test your solution in the real world, iterate upon the feedbacks that you have received. Then for the submission, you have to record a demo video consisting of the working of the solution that you have made. Then, as we talked about, the announcement of the 100 teams, then the mentoring of 100 teams, then the announcement of the top 10 finalists, then continuing of mentoring, then finally the winners will be announced. So let's talk about the judgment criteria. So there are total 50 points that have been allotted by the judge for your solution, and they're divided into 2 parts, basically. We think of them as impact as one, and then technology as the second one. So 5 points are given for that. Like if you have established a clear challenge using your problem statement. You have explained it well, your problem, and 5 points are given for that. Then the problem and the goal and the target that you have selected, 5 points are given for that. Then the feedbacks that you received from real users and how you iterated upon those feedbacks, 5 points are given for that. And solution that is addressing the challenge, you have to describe the success of your solution, 5 points are given to that. And 5 points are for that, how you plan to like extend it for a larger audience. Then coming to technology, 25 points are for technology, and it's divided, and 5 points are given for the architecture and the high level components that you have. And what are the Google existing technologies that you are using? You have to explain it. 5 points are for that. Implementation of the technical components, points are given for that as well. And furthermore, the actual working of your technology and how you are going to support if the number of users increase, 5 points are given for that. Coming on to the submission criteria, it has project setup, like you have to clearly describe the challenge you are trying to solve and the goals and targets, what inspired you to pick this. And then you have implementation. You have to talk about the architecture, the high level components, and what is the responsibility of each component. You have to describe about this. You have to keep this in mind, and product and the platforms that you have used and why you picked those. Then feedback, testing, and iteration. You have to talk to the real world users about your solution, and you have to reflect upon the feedback and the reviews that they gave you. And basically, you have to also talk about the challenges you faced while building your code and how you address them. Success and implementation, you have to success of your solution, you have to describe the success using the metrics and Google and track user usage analytics. You have to upload your demo video, and it should consist of the working application and how users interacted with your solution. And scalability, we'll be talking about how you are going to reach a larger audience. So this was about the submission criteria. Now let's talk about the prizes, the most exciting part. All participants will be getting Google's developer digital badges, and they'll be getting a official certificate of solution challenge. The top 100 teams will get mentorship by Googlers to refine the product, and they'll get custom branded t-shirts by Google and top 100 solution challenge certificate. The top 10 finalists will get a custom swag box, and they'll get a continued mentorship till their demo day, and they'll also get an opportunity to showcase their solution to a large number of developers and rest of the Googlers. And they'll also get a certificate of top 10 solution challenge certificate. And the contestant finalists will get a cash prize of 10,000 rupees. And the top 3 winners each will get a cash prize of 3,000 and will be featured in Google's developers blog. So now let's talk about what are the UN 17 sustainable goals. As we talked about in 2015, UN decided that these 17 goals are the major problem and major threat, and they need to be solved by year 2023. And 193 nations agreed upon those. Some of the goals are listed here. In fact, all of the goals are here. One is no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, and many more. You can check these out on Google and pick one and make a solution for it. And the GDSC and these principles that which were kept in mind while making these goals were that human right-based approach. You can't violate human rights, and no one should be left behind while making these goals. And it should be offering gender equality so that it's collective good. And some of the risk and harm that you need to keep in mind while making your solution. One is lack of context. You need to be sure that the solution you're trying to solve is not deviating from the goal that you pick, the sustainable goal that you pick, and it should do no harm. So that, for example, you can simply understand it that way. If you build a solution and it's only benefiting only one part, like only one part of like one proportion of people, it shouldn't happen. It should be helping everyone, not focused to a particular segment. And these are some risk and harms that you need to keep in mind while making your solution. So if you are still confused, like what kind of solution you need to build, so here's a quick look of Gateway. They were from Vietnam. They were the winner of 2022 Solution Challenge. They basically made a COVID-19 digital check-in system. And the goal that they selected was Sustainable Goal 3, the good health and well-being. And some of the tools that he used were Flutter, Google Cloud, TensorFlow, Angular, and Firebase. So this, you can check them out on Google and get to know more about their project. So Now let's talk about some of the Google's product and how they'll help you get started. So we'll be talking about project planning, quick product overview. Then we'll show you some of the sample product architecture, like how you can plan your solution. So project planning, it consists of 4 easy steps. One is the idea. You need to think of an idea. Then you have to build a prototype. Then you have to build and test it in the real world. After you are satisfied, deploy it for a larger audience. And here are lists of some of the Google products, and we'll be talking in detail about them soon. One is TensorFlow. And then you have Google Clouds, Firebase, PWAS, Android, and Flutter. You can use these to build your project. TensorFlow, it's a beginner-friendly tool. If you are going to use if your solution is using machine learning, TensorFlow is a go-to stop for that. And then you have Google Cloud. It has a global infrastructure and stability. Then you have Firebase. The tools, it's an infrastructure that you need to build a better mobile and web apps. Then you have PWA, build web applications that have been designed so that they're capable and reliable and can be installed. Android, we all know what Android is. It powers more than 2.5 billion devices across the world. And Flutter, you can build and test basically beautiful mobile apps and web applications using Flutter. Some of the sample architecture that you can, for your reference, so that you can keep in mind while making your solution. Like this uses tech stack of TensorFlow and Android. And here's another example of architecture. You can refer to these. And so let's build the solution. And before we end this, there are certain FAQs that we would love to address. One is, can my solution solve the problem outside the scope of 17 sustainable goals? And so it has to be one of the 17 goals. You can't solve a solution that is outside those 70. And can one student or team of students can give a multiple submissions? No, you can't. It's limited to one. Like one entry can give one submission only. Can I still participate in solution challenge if no Google developer student? If there's a no developer student group at your university, yes, you can. But your team has to consist of one member who is a part of a GDSC chapter. And in case if you are living somewhere which still if the place still follows COVID protocol and you are having a tough time taking the feedback, then you can mention this fact in your demo video. And while judging, the judges will consider this and they won't be so this would be considered while the judgment. So thank you. That's it for today's session, and stay tuned with us, and happy learning and happy building.